Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are looking at all the new cards for Knights of the Frozen Throne. So you come over here to collection, you go into crafting mode, you click here and you click on Frozen Throne. And that's the easiest way to see them right now. Last time we looked at the Shaman cards, which means we only have the Warlock cards and the Warrior cards and the neutral cards. And when we get to the neutral cards, that's when strategies are really going to start forming in line with the special cards per character class, because the neutral cards can be used with anybody. But we're looking at Warlock right now. First card we have is a 1 mana, 1 attack, 1 health creature called the Sanguine Revealer. Battlecry, destroy a friendly minion and gain +2/+2. This is a pretty good card, particularly with the Nightmare card. However, they have changed what the Nightmare card does. It no longer resummons itself instantly. It resummons itself at the end of the turn, which means if you fill up your field and you have already killed a Nightmare through this way or some other way, it can't resummon itself, and it's easier to destroy, which is probably a fair balance considering the Nightmare card was frankly a nightmare. It was almost impossible to defeat. You have to silence it, then kill it, otherwise. And they probably did need to make that change. I'm not a huge fan of Blizzard making changes, but in this instance, I can see why. Next we have is a 2 mana spell called Defile. Deal 1 damage to all minions. If any die, cast this again. Again, here's why the Nightmare card had to be changed. Because if you played this and it did 1 damage to the Nightmare, which was a 1/1 card, we're going to have to look at that card just to show it later, then the Nightmare would have died and resummoned itself. This would have cast it again. The Nightmare would have died and resummoned it. This would have cast it again. The Nightmare would have died and resummoned it. Now, this wouldn't instantly win the game for you, but what it would do is create an infinite loop that would never end the game. You would just be stuck. It would go in circles forever, and that would be very silly. And so this is the reason why Nightmare got changed, right? Almost certainly. Next card we have is a 2 mana spell, Drain Soul, Lifesteal, deal 2 damage to a minion. I'm interested in seeing if deal 2 damage to a minion includes Lifesteal or not. This will be an interesting... I guess it has to, because this is a spell. So you do 2... So instead of deal 2 damage to a minion and heal yourself too, it's saying deal 2 damage to a minion and heal yourself too. It's basically saying the exact same thing. But perhaps not. If you do 2 damage to a 1/1 minion, maybe you only get 1 health. So maybe you have to think of it, make a consideration there. That would be an interesting twist on it. Next we have a 2 mana, 2 attack, 3 health creature called Nosferatu. Instead of Nosferatu, it's a vampire gnome. Battlecry, remove the top card from your opponent's deck. Is there a strategy to make the opponent put a specific card on top of their deck, though? There is a strategy to probably, I think, make Battlecries activate twice. Maybe there's a card out there. Maybe there isn't. But unless you can force your opponent to have something very important on top of their deck, this is probably not a card you would play for that reason. But it is still probably a good card to play if you just needed a 2 mana, 2 attack, 3 health. And it would irritate the opponent, and it would get rid of 1 potentially important card. What we desperately need is a card like this that says, put a duplicate of one of your opponent's cards in their deck. That way, every single ranked player, every single person out there that's playing Reno Jackson, which is more than 50% of the people, if you have Reno Jackson, you playing Reno Jackson, and Reno Jackson says, if you have no duplicates, refresh your health all the way to the original, so back to 30. If you could have a card like this that put one duplicate in their deck and ruin their Reno Jackson play, that would be amazingly good. I would fully love to see that happen. But I don't think there is a way to do that. Except for maybe ambush bug. That might be a way of putting duplicates in there. Maybe everybody should be playing ambush bug. Yeah, there's a couple of cards that do put cards in your deck, in your opponent's deck, so maybe that's how you pull it off. But nobody's been playing that, certainly. Next we have a 3 attack, 3 mana, 3 attack, 6 health demon. This may be the first demon, since demons are specific to Warlock only. Creature called Howl Fiend. Whenever this minion takes damage, discard a random card. This card will work very good with some of the other discard decks that already exist. There's 1 or 2 cards that specifically work very well when you discard. They gain health, they gain attack, or something else, or they make you draw a card when you discard a card. So if you played something like this and then played something like this, you could draw, you could discard 6 cards and have something very powerful by killing your own card. Next card we have is a 3 mana spell called Treachery. Choose a friendly minion and give it to your opponent. Yeah, I can't see a reason why you'd want to play that. There's no minion in the Warlock collection of cards that I could see that... There's nothing that says, like, deal 3 damage to your opponent every time this is on the field at the beginning of your turn or something. So, I don't know what this is even supposed to synergize against. There's a couple of cards that kind of make sense, but nothing amazingly good. Next card we have is a 3 mana spell called Unwilling Sacrifice. Choose a friendly minion, destroy it, and a random enemy minion. Not too bad for 3 mana. I think that's probably a good one. Next we have a 5 mana, 1 attack, 6 health legendary creature called Blood Queen of Lanatherial, I guess. Lifesteal has +1 attack for each card that you've discarded this game. Absolutely what you want in the discard deck. This really synergizes well and makes it much more playable to play a discard deck and much more playable to play Warlock in general, I think. Because it's not like Warlocks are the best character to play as anyways. Next we have a 5 mana, 4 attack, 5 health demon called Despicable Dreadlord. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Not bad. That's pretty good. I'll play that if I have it. Then finally we have a 10 mana, big time here, hero replacement with 5 armor called the Blood Reaver Gul'dan. Battlecry, summon all friendly demons that died this game. And he has a hero power for 2 mana called Siphon Light. Hero power, lifesteal, deal 3 damage. So, I can certainly see why this is 10 mana. Summon all friendly demons that died this game. Isn't going to probably fill your board with amazing cards, but it will fill your board with decent cards. And it gives you 5 armor. And then you have this new ability of Siphon Life where you can steal your opponent's life for 3 and heal yourself, which is very good. So now the Warlock seems like it's really got something it can actually work with there. So I've been calling it the Nightmare card, but this one is actually called the Dreadsteed card. And let's see, here it's an epic card. So here's the deal. If I disenchanted this card, I would get 400 dust because it's been changed. And then if I created it, it would cost me 400 cards. 400 dust. So it's kind of unimportant in my case because I actually do want this card. But in the future, it would be nice. But if people didn't want to play this, if they only wanted to play standard, for instance, now would be the time to disenchant it. But that's not why we're here. At the end of your turn, summon a Dreadsteed is the new way this works, and that was specifically added to focus on to not create an infinite loop with Defile or some of the other things. But it also makes it a better card, in my opinion. It's more balanced. It was overpowered before. It was definitely overpowered when it just immediately resummoned itself. There's another card, if I can find it. There's many discard cards, certainly, but this one in particular, whenever you discard a card, get +1/+1. The Tiny Knight of Evil, that will certainly be very helpful. Sadly, Renounced Darkness doesn't count as a discard. So when you play that, you don't discard all of your hand and summon it, replace it with a new hand. And I'm not sure there's too much else that needs to really be looked at. Nope. So that's the Warlock. Next time we will look at the Warrior cards and then the neutral cards. We're almost done here. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.